Hey everyone, it's the Bean behind the scenes talking to you. We are excited that you're here with us for episode number 3 of Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. I just threw this little note here at the beginning for you because I wanted to let you know that we're experimenting with some new audio recording techniques for the show to try and make things a little easier to edit, but also make sure things sound as good as they possibly can. And it maybe didn't work out as great on this episode as I would have liked to. There's a little bit of distortion in the voices, especially when things get kind of loud, which, as you know, if you've watched our show, happens a lot. So I apologize for that. I've tried to balance out the levels so that it isn't quite as irritating, but there is some distortion in the voices this week. That'll get cleared up for next week. So we appreciate your patience and we hope you enjoy.
Time was now. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. I am your co-host, Justin Sakarica. We've got the Bean behind the scene, Daryl Bean, working the cameras and the audio and shit. And Steve Deviney is missing. I have no idea where the hell he is, but don't fear, because if you think we're not doing a show, you can forget about it. Because over here to my left, I have Paul Pipitone. Paul, how you doing, man?
Fantastic. How you doing?
Fantastic, man. So glad to see you here, man. I appreciate you stepping up, coming in here and giving us a little bit of Italian flair to the podcast,
That's right. And so unfortunate for Steve that he couldn't be with us today.
Are you hinting something right now? Are you, kind of
Hopefully he'll be back soon. He just takes care of a few things and he'll be good.
Gotcha. So you're not saying that he's got a new pair of concrete shoes, are you?
No. Let's just say he might be delivering some flowers.
I gotcha. See, very Italian, folks. So again, anyway, I'm very happy to have Paul here because if you don't know, Paul runs one of the most fun and well-known open mics in the Detroit comedy scene. You want to go ahead and explain to the people here what that is?
That would be the New Way open mic in Ferndale. It's 9 in Woodward. Fun open mic. We've been doing it for probably 10 years now. I've been one of the official co-hosts for the past 3 years. Prior to me, it was Amit Jain. Prior to him, Michael Sauvé. Prior to him, Lloyd Digg. And it's been in the franchise hands ever since.
Nice. Well, I've heard nothing but great things about that show. I know sometimes it may get a little crazy.
A little bit.
But I mean, hey, if it's not crazy, it's not fun, right? You want to have a little bit of, a little bit of craziness, a little bit of drama, maybe. It tends to happen sometimes, but again, that makes life a little bit more fun. Am I right?
You might get all of that in one night, and some good eye candy to go along with it.
You know what? I got a sweet tooth and I love eye candy. Let me tell you right now. So that's always a good thing.
Eye candy and comedy.
Absolutely, man. You cannot go wrong with that. So what do you think the appeal is of New Way? Why do you think so many comedians want to come on there every Monday?
I think it's that for one, anybody can come out. So it's open to all. There's only a few people that ever get restrictive bans. And on top of that, there's so many social circles. So you'll have the Hamtramck scene, the Detroit comedy scene, people from Lansing, people from Flint, all over. So a lot of people that would never regularly meet each other at a show end up meeting at a mic. You end up seeing somebody that maybe you haven't seen for the first time, or somebody you are seeing for the first time. You're like, oh, they're funny. I've only seen their social media profile. They're funny. Yeah. I want to book them out in a show in Kego Harbor or something.
Mm-hmm. So it's a good melting pot for for not only the Detroit scene, but it sounds like for the whole Michigan comedy scene as a whole.
And Toledo and Ontario.
Canada. Canada's not a real country, so who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great, man. That's awesome. It's kind of crazy that you mentioned sometimes comedians meeting each other for the first time.
Yep.
Because this is only the second time I've met you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
First time was at Elena's party?
Yeah, at Elena Gonzalez's backyard party. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy that you can go in the scene so long without meeting anybody, and then bam,
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're in my basement eating my gabagool,
And might I say, very nice touch with the salamis. Does anybody want to hand us that little tray that Justin had made?
A little kind of a white trash charcuterie board here, but as you can see, not a very fancy tray, but hey, it tastes good. So who the fuck cares, right?
He knew he was having Italians over, and he got the nice ham, the prosciutto, salami, and the nice cheeses and all that. Yeah, is there a bottle of red wine we can break out open at some point?
You know what, man? I already drank that, so sorry about that, man.
We'll have an official sit down at some point.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of having guests over, we have a fantastic guest for you guys on the show today. Not only is this guy one of the nicest people in the Detroit comedy scene, he perhaps has the most, what's the word I'm looking for, proper nickname in all of the scene. He took some time out of his day from taking over a small city to come here and be on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the very funny Cam Big Fella Rowe. Cam, get on in here, man.
All right, man. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. Look at that handshake,
Hey,
man.
Oh,
good
how
to
you
see you
doing,
again.
man? Good.
Have a
So
seat,
glad to
man.
be here.
Have a
Thank
seat.
you, man.
Go ahead and get all mic'd up
Yeah,
now.
let me get mic'd up. You know how we got to do it.
I like that there's Cam Goodfella Rowe and Paulie Goodfella Pipitone.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Me, I am not a very good fella. I am a dick, so I don't get a cool nickname. So that's very unfortunate. But yeah, man. Like I said, you're a very nice guy. I
Thank you,
appreciate you
man.
coming on the show here. It's always a pleasure having you around, whether or not just hanging out or doing
Yeah.
a comedy thing. And so recently, this weekend, you were actually at the Detroit House of Comedy, right?
Yes, I was. I was at the Detroit House of Comedy. Great venue. It was a little light because it's a Labor Day weekend, man, but, they do a good job over there. So I was over there featuring, did 5 shows. It was great. I loved it. My first time there. Fantastic.
Awesome. Now, speaking of the Detroit House of Comedy and Detroit rooms in general, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but sometimes Detroit crowds can be a little tough.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not firing on all cylinders immediately, the crowd can turn on you like that.
Yep.
I know I have experienced it before. It sucks. Like, if your first joke is not hitting, man, it could be a rough night. Like, have you ever?
Oh, for sure, man. You got to come out. You got to come out on fire. I did a show probably about 3-4 years ago. I started in L.A., even though I'm from Michigan. Right? I started in L.A. I did a show when I first came back to Michigan. It was probably about 5 years ago. I did it with Josh Adams and Mike Ball. And, I started in urban clubs in L.A., but they have actual urban comedy clubs, kind of like Punchline or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
So I started doing that, but I came to Detroit, and it was like, it was different than just an urban comedy club. It was like, I can't even explain the environment, but it was a weed show, and I just went up there and just like messing around with the crowd, and they weren't into it at all.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
So I had to learn how to, you got to come out fire out here. You got to come out firing quick. Otherwise, they'll lose interest quickly.
Yeah, like I said, I have experienced that before. I mean, like, if your first joke doesn't have a good punchline, you're pretty much dead in the water.
Yeah, man.
And I know,
Yeah.
too. I mean, God, years ago when Charlie Sheen was doing his weird little comedy thing, the
Yeah.
crowd hated him. They even hated Dave Chappelle here one night, which is
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy, man. It's one of them things.
Steve
like,
Harvey, they booed Cat Williams. They actually smacked Cat Williams. So
they smacked him?
they smacked him. Somebody smacked him. Man.
Classic video.
Yeah, right. Dude, so you got to come with it in Detroit.
Yeah,
I haven't got smacked yet, but
well, I mean, you're like 9 feet tall. So,
that's true.
Yeah,
I also don't know how to fight either, but that's that's fine.
Yeah,
People
but
think
like-
I can. I'm just a big prop, right?
But I mean, like, a guy with your size, doesn't need to know how to fight.
That's right.
All you gotta do is know how to stand there and look intimidating. Like,
That's all I do. Like the fights I've had, I literally just threw people. Like I just pick them up and throw them. Because if it gets to a boxing match, I'm done after that.
Yeah.
Did I just break?
Perfect.
Big fella Rowe.
Big fella Rowe. That's amazing. You gotta love these live podcasts.
I forgot to warn you. Every time I come over to somebody's house, I always break something, man. So
Hey, you know what? Better my chair than my arm when you shook my hand, because I need these, man. I got a spare chair over there, so we're good, man.
Once you got good fellas on the show with big fellas, we're not just breaking legs. We're breaking chairs.
Absolutely, yeah. Sitting down with stand-ups, breaking bread with comedians, and breaking chairs.
Am I the first person to break a chair on this show? That's history, right, mate?
On the show, yes, but in my house, no. Okay. I had some relatives come here and break some furniture. I'm sorry, it's happened, yes. I can say that, so.
I made history. I feel good, man.
That's classic.
Yeah.
That's classic video right there.
Yeah.
I hope they caught the crack too.
Oh my God! Please tell me that, Daryl. Please tell me that caught.
Oh, we got the crack.
Yes.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. If not, we'll have to add that in.
We'll have to add it in.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Oh my God.
Hey, real quick, let me ask a question. What do you attribute your likability to? For instance, we worked at the Stray Cat 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I go there maybe once a month. They still talk about you. They want me to do another show there and bring you in. They're like, "Can you bring Cam back? He was one of our favorites." And I'm like, Cam's a very busy man. He's got TV things going on in Florida. He's going back and forth with multiple shows. I told them that they want to book you because doing a little research for this. Oh, you're leaving for the Armed Forces?
Yeah.
That tour.
Very
cool. I was like, you got to book him before he goes to this in November.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, that's a great question, man. I just think it's just, I'm just myself on stage. I don't try to be this super tough guy because that's not what even though I'm this big, massive person, I'm not a tough guy at all. I think I'm just myself. And the audience can tell when you're being honest with them, too. That's one of the first things I learned when I was doing comedy,
Yeah.
Like, don't try to be who you're not. And I think that comes across. And people can relate to that too. So I think that's what it is.
I agree because I think a lot of people do have a very good sixth sense when they can tell if someone's putting on an act or if they're being genuine.
Yeah.
And again, when you're genuine, it's going to automatically make the crowd open up to you more.
Exactly.
And, or two, they could be terrified of you because again you're huge.
Well, that could be true. Yeah,
they're like, I don't want to piss this guy off and not laugh at a joke. Oh, it's so funny. Yes, please don't kill me, please, for crying out loud. So
that's true too, man.
yeah, but no, it's great, man. So yeah, you got a lot of stuff coming up in the in the coming months, man. Why don't you go ahead and
Well, it's so much, Justin. No, I got the biggest thing I say, I'm going to Europe. Going with Armed Forces Entertainment to entertain the troops. Thank you, man.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, they haven't listed all the countries yet. It's kind of secretive until we actually go over there.
Ukraine.
Yeah, well,
God. Yeah.
I'm praying that's not one of them, but
They're going to take you to the Deadly Five.
right. But no, that's amazing. I did the World Series of Comedy last year in Las Vegas, and a guy saw me there, booked me at his comedy club in Ohio. The guy that I featured for, he loved me. He said, dude, I'm going to be calling you to go on cruises, to go overseas. And, you hear that a lot from people. You're like, all right, whatever. But literally 6 months later, he sent me a message like, hey, man, can you go to Europe? I'm like, hell yeah, I can.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that was great. He actually followed up with me.
So 6 months. It took him 6 months to follow up.
Yeah. 6 months to follow up. But, I guess he remembered me. I guess, the opportunity opened up, and he said, hey, man, I remember that guy. And he just sent me a message. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go, man.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things that I've noticed in comedy. You'll meet somebody, and that relationship doesn't pay off within 24 or 48 hours.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, I know for me personally, sometimes it's like I may want to work with somebody, but I'm like, I want to get to know them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that's someone I can hang out with off stage?
Right.
And that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Too. Especially if you're going to be on the road with somebody.
And, or two, like if you're like me and you book shows, I try and book a few months out. And I get a lot of prior requests of people that I want to get on. So yeah, I might meet somebody and say, hey, I'll get you on at some point soon. And then 6 to 8 months down the road, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get this. I gotta contact this person. Not trying to be a dick. It's just you want to take care of the other people that you have already spoken to, and
Yeah, man, you got to make sure they're not a weirdo. Like I opened for Louis C.K. before, and I was in his hotel room. No, I'm joking.
I want to know where this is going.
Yeah, please continue.
Well, I'm just joking, Louis C.K. Please let me open for you, man. I'm just joking, man.
Yeah, and hey, Louis C.K., if you want to come on the show, please come. Just wash your hands.
Right.
Wash your hands before you touch my shit, okay?
Speaking of which, I hear Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish have some openings up.
Oh my God! I'll take Aries gigs. I'll take them, man, all day.
Oh man,
I love Tiffany though, man. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch the video?
Oh yeah.
I seen the one video, and then someone said that there's more videos out there, and I was like, what? I'm like, if this video ain't the worst.
Dude.
There's always more video. There's always more video, you know?
I don't know why they thought that was funny. They're on the level that they're on as comedians. You would think that they would know, like, all right, this is crazy. This is not funny.
Yeah.
So it was just weird.
Use your brain. Like, like think about what's going to happen down the road. You know?
Oh, my God.
You
Now,
know?
Tiffany wasn't famous yet, so she was, like, maybe just excited to be working with Ari Spears and just didn't want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but it was bad, though, man. It was,
Yeah.
it was
I don't know, someone recruited those kids.
Yeah.
Like they weren't actors.
Yeah. So, and you think about their parents. Their parents say they didn't know, but you would think they should be on set seeing what's going on.
100%.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah, be a good parent for Christ's sakes,
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Yeah.
You know, and because again, you know, it's like
And don't let your kids work for free.
yes. You know, speaking of that, working for free and you know, like with you being a nice guy, like, do you ever find it's hard for you to sometimes say no to some opportunities when people are wanting you to come do a show like 3 hours away for no pay? And,
Not anymore.
okay, yeah.
Good
You know, you learn, especially Michigan is so far spread out. So I used to do that like when I first started because I was just trying to go everywhere. But now, no, hell no. It's totally easy to say no now.
Yeah,
but
because
no, I get what you mean though.
yeah, because like you know, like again, like I think early on as comedians, we all kind of like. You didn't want to say no because you were afraid, oh my God, if I say no, I might not get this opportunity again. And then a couple of years down the road, you're like, I wish I would have said no so I don't get this opportunity again. Because this person's, you know, bothering me and want me to be on their show. But yeah, you know, like I think it's, you know, we all get to a point where it's, you know what, it's not going to work for me. You know, don't be afraid to negotiate either. It's,
Yeah, I
hey,
was just going to say that,
you know,
man.
do not be afraid to negotiate. It's
Heck
like, you got to
no.
give me something, you know?
Don't be afraid to negotiate. And, you know, the worst they can say is no, they can't do that. Let them know how they're going to be paying you. Are you going to be paying me by check? Are you going to pay me 3 days later? You know?
Yeah.
Like, find that out first, too. Cause,
You get there, you find out they want to pay you through Venmo.
oh,
Yeah.
Yep. And you may not have Venmo, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or some
that's-
shitty cheese bread. Yeah. Oh, sorry about your money, but you know, here the chef had some leftover cheese bread to share between 5 comedians. Like, what the fuck is this? You know?
No cash, but here's some gabagool.
Yeah, exactly. You know, now some gabagool. You know, I can get done. If I'm not driving more than a half hour, I might do a show for some food. You know?
Yeah. And then, you know, sometimes you might save your messages, too, because they might, you know, say, give you 500, but no, you tell me you give me 600, so, you know, whatever it is. So,
oh yeah,
save
absolutely.
those messages, man.
Yeah, because I mean, look, I mean, I love doing comedy. I love the scene, but I think we all know there are some people here that are, you know, a little grimy, a little greasy. So you got to kind of know, you know, you got to know, you know, the people.
No names because I work for all of them. So.
Oh man.
Hey, how do you find? Do you prefer booking your own shows or working for a booker who's booking you?
Well, okay, so I will say this, man. It's better to go out and probably try to get your own.
Yeah.
But people in the Michigan scene have been so generous. Like, before I even get a chance to do that, somebody's messaging me like, hey, you want to do this? You want to do that? And I'm like, all right, I'll look in. All right, yeah, I can do it. So the bookers, they do a really good job out here of doing the work for you. They honestly do. You know? So, but you probably make more money if you did it yourself. So, it kind of depends on, you know, how lazy you are. Do you want to go out there and do it? And actually, you know, or you can do both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I try to book shows as much as I can, but I get a lot of messages and work from the bookers, so, you know, I'm too lazy, guys. Just keep booking me.
How many social media platforms are you on?
I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Twitter, Facebook.
Follow him.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I'm really trying to focus now on having more of an online presence, like with videos. So I got with Kev Johnson a couple weeks ago.
Love Kev.
Kev's great, man. He's a big, bubbly, funny guy, man. That's my boy.
Bubbly.
Yeah, he's bubbly.
I've never heard a guy described as bubbly before. Like usually it's for like a little teen girl. Oh, she's so bubbly.
Kevin is bubbly, man. I thought Kevin is a bubbly dude, man.
Bubbly, funny, and surprisingly incredibly athletic.
Oh my God!
Incredibly athletic.
I look at him like, how can your big ass move like that? Like,
Yeah.
He was doing this thing. Did you watch the what's the thing that he did? The hip prov show with Tam White?
Oh, and the dancing?
Yeah, he got on the ground and was like moving up and down. My wife kept watching. I was like, stop watching that shit right now.
Yeah.
Because damn, Kevin will take my wife. Jesus.
I played
like that.
I played a game of softball with him,
Yeah.
and I was on second base. He was running from first base to second base, and he's running with the high elbows, high knees
proper form,
like
yeah.
a track star.
That's what-
like
that's what
a
you-
track star
yeah.
at second base, and I was like, oh my god, this guy. Oh,
That's what they say in the black community is fat athletic.
yeah.
He is, man.
Oh man! So speaking of athletic, obviously again, I'm gonna keep bringing it up. This man is huge.
Yeah, man.
If you guys have not met him, this man is huge. Now, growing up,
6'8"?
6'9".
6'9".
6'9". God damn, man! Can you give me a few inches, please?
Yeah, sure,
I'm like
man.
5'8" over here. I'm a little fucking weird boy. Like, growing up, did your family think for sure that you were gonna be like a sports star?
Well, pretty much. I come from a sports family. Like my cousin Willie Crawford played professional baseball. He played for he was a track star too, and also played football. My father was a legend. He's a legend at UCLA. You know what I mean? He won 3 national championships. He would have had 4, but they had a freshman team back then. So, and then he played on for the Pistons and the Boston Celtics. And me is just. It just stops right there at me. Like, you know what I mean? But no, but I did. I mean, I talk about it in my stand-up like I didn't play sports at all. I did play. I actually played college basketball. I played at Seattle University. At first, I went to Texas Southern. Then I went to junior college, and I transferred to Seattle University after that. So I did play Division I basketball. But a lot of that was because of me being 6'9" and who my father was.
Yeah.
So I was like 90% of that was from that. But
It's a good gamble for a coach.
yeah, great gamble, man. I almost got into UCLA, but the coach got fired.
He's seen the recruiting list.
He's like, you got Cam Rowe, you got to go, man. Yeah, so I almost went to UCLA, man. So I was decent. I played I was pretty fundamentally sound, but I wasn't going to dunk on you or anything that you would expect. But I could, do a hook shot on you or something like that.
Gotcha. That's still a lot more athletic than me because I'm telling you, I am so unathletic. I'm like a turtle with a hangover when I play sports, right? I'm not kidding. I played soccer for like 10 years. I scored 1 goal, and it was such a monumental moment on my team that there were grown women crying when I scored. That's how bad I am. I swear to you, that's how bad I am. And I wish on the field I scored my 1 goal. They built a subdivision, and I wanted that field to stand, but yeah, I'm jealous, man. I'm not. Like I said, I am not an athlete at all. What about you? You got any athletic prowess in you there?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah. A little bit, yeah. So obviously I came from a single-parent home, and athletics were stressed. The last name Pipitone, there was a New York Yankee that played for, a Pipitone that played for the Yankees, Joe Pipitone.
Yeah.
They talked about him in Seinfeld and all of those stuff. So growing up, everybody was always like, baseball. My father was great at baseball. He was in the Navy, played baseball. For me, when I went to play baseball, I didn't have the hand-eye coordination. Got hit, played shortstop, got hit in the face with the ball.
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
Hit in the face with the ball, and I was like, I'm done with baseball. And that was at 10 years old. The sport that I transitioned to was soccer. So I was real good at soccer. Never had to worry about scoring goals. Football, track. Football was my favorite, running back, defensive end. Coach football now, so that's carried over. I actually tried to recruit
Yes, I was going to get into that.
Cam, your son, to play basketball on our squad and then football on our squad too.
Dude, man. Oh, wait, I didn't realize. So
We went undefeated 3 seasons, and now we got a whole new season starting up next week.
I need to get him on there, man, because he can actually play. He's good at football, man. He's good at football and basketball.
Yeah.
So I need to get him on there, man. I think it skips every generation. You know what I mean? Like my father skipped me, now went to my son. So that's good, man.
Hey, I get it. I'm much better looking than our previous generation.
Oh man. Well, speaking while we're on the subject of athletics here, Cam, it's my understanding that lately you've been doing some comedy with some Detroit sport legends.
Oh, that's right, man.
Yeah. So you've been going and opening up for Rick Mahorn and Darren McCarty. What's that been like?
Well, let me tell you something. Darren McCarty and Rick, they are the nicest guys you would meet. They both have this badass mentality and personality, but they're both really, really nice dudes, man. Darren is I'm trying to remember. So Darren is really how he's like Darren. He still will want to get into a bar fight or something after the show. Come on, man, let's go. I'm like, I don't know, Darren, man. You're getting a little wild, but he's a great dude, man. And Rick, I just met Rick. Actually, I met Rick a long time ago. I used to work for Fox Sports Detroit. I was a production assistant, and Rick Mahorn, I used to talk to him all the time. So the first time I met him again, when I was going to do the shows for him, I was like, hey, man, remember me from Fox Sports? He was like, fuck no.
How tall is Rick Mahorn?
Rick Mahorn he's about 6'9", 6'10".
Okay,
He's
yeah,
6'10".
so, like, it's not like he's going to see somebody your size and have it stick out, because he's surrounded by,
He's surrounded by
NBA players, so someone like you is just an average-looking guy.
Exactly.
Where we're all midgets.
Yeah, he's a great dude, but he is a constant shit talker. Like, he'll come in here without even knowing you guys. He's like, fuck these guys. Who the fuck is, he's really just messing with you, you know what I mean? But he's so big, you're like, he's like the opposite of me. Like he's so big, you're like, oh shit, this guy's super. He's really just fucking with you. So if you ever see him with me, he's talking shit, just like talk shit back to him.
Gotcha. I don't know if I'm going to talk shit back.
No, I'm telling you, man. No, I got you, man.
He'd appreciate it. He'd appreciate it.
He loves it. He loves
Maybe from like 30 feet away, I'll be like, hey, Rick, fuck you.
No. He'll laugh, man. I promise you, man.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he's great. They're both great. Man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll talk shit, but I don't know. But, yeah, so with those guys doing comedy now, I know there might be a little bit of stigma because they're not what we would call true comedians, but if they're on stage and they're making people laugh and they're bringing in an audience, kind of the same thing like how we had with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He said himself, I'm not a true comedian, but he's on stage telling funny stories.
And that's what Darren does.
That's
what Darren says. Darren says, I'm not a true comedian, but I got some comedians with me. So he usually has like one or two people that'll open up for him. And and he's great. He tells his stories. People come to see him.
Exactly.
They love him. Rick just started out. Rick is hilarious. He really is truly. If Rick continues to do it, Rick can be a comedian. Like, he's hilarious.
So he's actually kind of like like refining his jokes and like studying the game.
And studying the game, and he's really, really good. He also does radio, so I think that helps him too with improv. Sure, but he's great, man. Honestly,
I would love to work with Rick. I've worked with Darren McCarty twice.
Yeah.
So far, and both times have been fantastic.
Yeah.
The last time he sold out our venue.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Which
dude, he's like.
It's difficult in the comedy scene to sell out a room, and he did it. He did it for us, and I was so pleased. And I was like, man, I would love to work with Rick Mahorn.
Yeah.
I'd love for us to get a Detroit Lion on the roster.
Dude, that'd be great too.
That'd
be awesome.
Joey Bell, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson. Maybe
in the hopper.
Barry.
That would be a hell of a tour, like the Detroit Sports Comedy Tour.
Great. And Darren, like last time I saw Darren, he was killing. He was killing it. I was like, dude, man, he's really, So yeah, I love Darren's whole camp, like his little entourage boogieing them, like they're great, man. Like they're all great.
Super gracious too. Darren sets up a booth and signs every piece of merchandise.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That everyone will bring in. People make inappropriate requests upon his time.
I mean, I can imagine.
We're just outside hanging out, and people are showing up with their phones and like, I'm live right here. I'm live with Darren. I'm live with Darren McCarty. Hey, Darren, tell me, and it's like, what are you doing?
I know, man.
What are you doing?
And they're great. Like they're just like both of them. They're just great. And you would think like both of them have won championships at the highest level you can win, and they're just so gracious and just.
That's great to hear. I mean, like it's always good when you meet people, who have been through so much and who have done so much, and when you see them being, humble, it's nice because nobody wants to meet a dick,
right? Right.
So don't meet me because I'm a dick. So
like Ari Spears is a dick. Other than that, but
have you ever met somebody in comedy yet who was a real son of a bun?
Ari Spears.
Okay, real. Okay.
Ari Spears, fuck you. Yeah, come on, Ari Spears. What do you think?
That's real going back there.
Yeah, no, Ari Spears is. So I'll put it like that. I didn't necessarily meet him in person, but I was supposed to. And I was brand new to comedy, man. I wasn't trying to open up for him, but my buddy, he was featuring for him at the Improv, and I was still an open mic comic. So I'm like, he was like, but he liked me. He said, dude, just do 10 minutes. He said, you're funny. Just do 10 minutes. He said, don't do any longer than that, and you're fine. He was like, I'm going to get you on this show to host with Aries. I was like, okay, whatever. So he calls Aries up, and Aries goes, he said, hey, man, I got this host for you. Aries goes, is he black? And he said, yeah. And Aries like, well, he can't open for me. I don't let black people open for me. And I was like, what? He was white, right? So I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I thought he was joking, so I laughed.
Yeah.
And and then he said it again. He said, no, seriously, I don't let black people open for me. I'm like, dude, you're a weirdo, man. I was like, are you not black yourself? Like,
is there any logic behind that? Because that's not the first time that I've heard something like that, where if somebody feels like someone is too similar.
So that's what. Yeah. So okay. So he was on Vlad TV, and that's what he said. He said a lot black comedians are really loud and they're like Def Jam. But I'm not even like a Def Jam comedian.
Yeah.
So for him to say that is just ignorant. You assume all black comedians are a certain way that you don't like. And he tried to say, but it doesn't. You can have other. So you can have, you know, an Italian comedian who might have similar stories.
Yeah. An Italian from Detroit.
Yeah, like, exactly. Exactly. But you'd be able to open for him, and I couldn't. And I just thought, I mean, it's his show. He can do what he wants. I was like, man, that guy's strange. But he's done other stuff I've heard to other people that have been horrible. And now he's molesting kids in videos, so he just needs to go. Fuck experience, man.
Sometimes it just goes to show that sometimes the opportunities that you don't get, you should be thankful for.
Exactly, man.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to fight for that next show, and a lot of people don't care about who the producer is and what their background is.
Yeah.
Just, I'm getting stage time, and this is, you know, what it is. And then a couple years later, you're like, oh, this person was doing this?
Exactly.
Oh, I was working with them during that time frame?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, you get that sick feeling like, oh, my fucking God.
I know, man.
I got a shower, like, right now. Like, fuck
Yeah.
He just seems like a horrible person, man. Like, honestly. Like,
and we don't like horrible people on this podcast. Not at all, so.
But everybody else, honestly, like, I can't think of anyone else, honestly, who I felt that way about. And that's a good thing, man. I mean,
Best person.
Best person?
Where you're just like, I can't believe how gracious and cool this person is for being who they are.
I don't know if you guys know this dude. His name is Brian Hooks. He's in a few movies, and he was on that sitcom Eve. But he's been in like a movie called Three Strikes. This is like back in 2000, but he is one of the nicest dudes.
Okay.
And he does his own show. But also, I met Chris Tucker, who was super nice too, man.
Really? That's cool.
He seems like he'd be real nice.
Yeah, he's the nicest. He came to an open mic that I was hosting in L.A., and he walked up, and I'm not paying attention. And he said, I said, all right, man, like, what's your name? I'm writing down the list. He's like, Chris. I said, all right, cool. And I was like, oh, my God. He was like, yeah, man, I just want to work on 5-10 minutes. I'm like, dude, do whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah.
And he was just the nicest dude. Like, he took pictures with me afterwards. And
that's cool.
He was a great guy. He honestly is. So
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Chris Tucker.
I love hearing stories like that just as much as like who was the worst, who was the best, what made that person the best, because those are always good examples, I feel like, for comedians when we go into other rooms. You know, sometimes I run into people who don't know how to conduct themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and plus too, again, like if you're a nice person and people speak highly of you, I'm telling you right now, there's a much better chance that you will get booked on shows.
Yeah.
You gotta be funny, but again, like if you're a nice guy or a nice girl,
that helps.
Trust me, like time, just being polite, being respectful, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know,
and then stay that way once you get funny too.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Because that door will close.
Yeah, exactly.
That door will close. Doesn't matter how funny you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, this person is terrible to be around.
Exactly. And again, I mean, you know, like, unfortunately, sometimes all it takes is 1 or 2 bad nights in comedy, and people might get soured on you a little bit. You know, they might be like, I don't know if this guy has it. You know, I mean, because I think we've all been there before. You know, we've all had some real bad nights. You were talking about it earlier.
Oh, man. Yeah, of course, man. Like, we all had bad nights. My comedy teacher, I took a comedy class in L.A. called the Art of Stand-Up Comedy. Guy named David Arnold was he is the teacher. David Arnold, I'm so happy for him. He's actually blowing up. He's like 50-something years old now.
Good for him.
But he's blowing up on social media. He's on his 3rd Netflix special. He's like super blown up. But he said he did a show like 15 years ago, and an agent saw him, and then he got so much better like 15 years later, and the agent would not go see him. Like, no, I saw him like 15 years ago. He was terrible. Like, what do you mean? Like,
15 years is a long time.
You know how much better you can get? But yeah, even like, you can get so much better in a year or two. You know, it depends how much you've been on stage. But the guy would not even like, oh no, I don't want to see him. So it's horrible, man. It's, first impression is kind of like everything, but it sucks though, man, because you can get so much better in your craft. And some agents are stupid, man.
Yeah. You know, again, like like maybe a comedian just had a bad night.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just had a bad night, but
I mean, and maybe
last bad night, January.
Really?
January. I wrote it down in my notebook. It was in my hometown, in like Harrison Township, and literally it was almost like a high school reunion. And like nobody there had seen me for like such a long time, and I went in there, and first of all, the 2 comedians that went before me, I feel like I was a little bit funnier then. But they crushed.
Oh, they did?
They crushed.
Oh. That's the worst.
And, well, for me, I was like, this is great. Momentum follows momentum. Momentum follows momentum. Boom, I go up, and as soon as I got on stage, this is how fragile I can be sometimes, okay? They had a green light on. As soon as I noticed the green light was pointed at me, I'm like, I hate green lights. I don't like green lights. And immediately I had a problem with the green light, and that entire set was just dunk. Like, it felt like every joke was just falling. Like, there was like silence, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is painful.
Yeah.
Wrote it down in my notebook afterwards. They had another show in 2 months there. I wasn't even booked on that show. I'm like, I'm showing up to that show. I gotta redeem myself. I'm not gonna feel good until I go back.
Yeah.
And went back 2 months later, crushed it.
That's how it is, man.
You know what the funny thing is? No one remembered the previous performance.
That's a good thing.
I was where it was so bad, and I was like, oh, so that was just in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like it was terrible, but nobody else noticed that.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way sometimes?
Yeah, I
when
man,
you go out?
like, I do that, like, if I feel like I've done okay or not as good as I know I could have done.
Yeah.
And the audience will be like, no, man, no, you did great. But, like, they really are serious. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, dude, like, I could have done so much better. And even that show I did with Josh, it was funny. Like, I was hosting, so I was getting nothing from them at all. And I was like, if I'm bombing, I will bail out. Like, I have to really, I have to work on that, man. Because I'll be like, all right, you guys don't like me, fuck it. Let me bring up the next person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I bombed, and then Mike Ball got in there. Mike kind of, I think he probably did better than me, but, you know, he kind of bombed too.
Did you do crowd work?
Huh?
Crowd work?
No, I didn't do anything.
No, him.
Oh, yeah, he did. And he kind of bombed too. So we're like, oh, it's just the audience. The audience fucked up. Josh gets up there and fucking destroys. So we're like, it's not the audience. It's not the audience.
Magic man.
Yes, and
Magic man.
That is such a horrible feeling. And I talked about it on the last podcast here, so I won't tell it again. But yeah, I've had a time where I bombed horribly. I thought it was a crowd. Headliner goes up, spends the first 5 minutes making fun of me. Crowd's loving it. Got him back on his side, and it sucks because I had to ride home with the headliner. So that's just, you know. One day I will get Keith Leonard on here, and he can tell it from his eyes how fucking bad I was that night. Because I'm sure he probably still just shakes his head every time.
Keith is honest. Keith will let you know.
And he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did, man. Like, trust me, it was a long ride home, and I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm so embarrassed, but it happens.
It happens. I mean, it happens to everybody. I mean, even the people that you've seen kill, I'm sure, you know, they've bombed before. Everyone has bombed, man. Yeah. So, but now I laugh at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so secure within my set and what I can do. Yeah. It's very, but at first it's horrible. Like, you feel like, why am I even doing comedy? I should never do it again.
You go home and you hang your head, you're like, fuck this.
Well, especially when you have accomplishments and you have upcoming shows coming up, and you're like, okay, like, I feel like everything is here, but what I just put out is down here. Nobody knows the difference. I know for me, it's, if I watch myself on tape, energy level. If my energy level's down, if I can tell when I get into my flow. If I'm not in my flow, things can seem more robotic and mechanical. How long did it take for you? Because I know for me, it took me like 7 years to really learn how to be a good comedy writer.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to become like a good writer and just become a comedian instead of like first couple of years it's like you're just doing it, going out there trying to figure things out?
I think when I started talking about real shit that happened to me, it was easier to talk about as opposed to like fake stuff that never happened. You know what I mean? Like, so for me it was easier to just like, all right, and then, you know, obviously with experience, the more times you're on stage, the better. I've gotten so much better at my pacing, which makes my older jokes that probably weren't as funnier now.
Yeah.
Because I pace, I'll wait for the laugh. Like, I'm that confident where like, all right, you guys are going to laugh at this shit. It might come 2 seconds later, but I'm going to pause, and they'll laugh. And then it'll get a bigger laugh, and then I'll just go. So I've gotten so much better with that. But yeah, just experience, man. It's just like the more stage time, and definitely watch your videos. It's hard to watch them as comedians. Yeah. Watch them and see what you need to improve on, man. And honestly, it'll
great advice.
Yeah, for sure, man.
If there's one thing that I can credit watching videos to, because that's the one thing I always hear from other comedians. They don't listen to, they'll record their set, they won't listen to the recording, they won't watch their video, and it's like, that is the only way you're going to get better. And it helps if you played sports and your coach forced you to watch tape and be openly kind of critical, self-criticism, whatever, or constructive.
Constructive
criticism where it's like, hey, you did everything good, you can sharpen this up. Yeah. You know, you can do this, but you only find that out through watching the tape.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, having a bad night can sometimes be one of the most beneficial things.
Beneficial.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
And sometimes you might watch them like, all right, I didn't bomb as bad as I thought I did. You know what I mean? Like,
how often does that happen?
Oh my God, yeah, that's happened. I was like, okay, it wasn't that. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
And then you feel better.
And it also happens the reverse, where you think you did really bad that night, and then you go and you watch the tape, and you're like, no, that wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
I was all right. And then there'll be a performance where you're like, you get off stage, and just the endorphins are cranking. You're like, I destroyed it tonight. King. And then you watch the tape, and you're like, nah, I think I was in my own head a little bit there.
When that happens,
bumping myself up.
Yeah.
like I've noticed when that happens, it's usually because the crowd loves one of your jokes, and you'll get like a huge uproar of laughter, and then you remember that one joke you told that they loved, and everything else, they're like, oh, I understand what he's saying here, dick joke. Woo.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're loving you afterwards because you did that big joke, and they're like, oh, great job. So you're like, yeah, of course. We'll kill
Like
it.
so you get home and you watch the tape, and you're like, oh, the volume's, not turned up. You're sitting there like, wait a minute, no, the volume's all the way up.
Are those crickets? Are those? Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I honestly, like, coming from LA and then coming to this Michigan scene, like, coming from LA, I just thought I could just like call up Mark Ridley's like, hey, like, can I perform next week? They were like, no. Like, who the fuck are you? But the Michigan scene is so much. I don't want to say better, but it to me it is, man.
There's a lot of camaraderie.
It is.
There's a lot of camaraderie here.
It's a lot, and you get way more stage time. Like in LA, you get like, if you're a new comedian, like 5-10 minutes at the most, maybe. So I had to come here. Mike Ball booked me for shows. Like, can you do 20 minutes? I'm like, no, I don't think I can. I'm gonna try. Like, I can mess with the crowd.
Yeah.
But because of him, and challenged me like to do more, he's like, man, you're funny, man. You gotta get more time. You know what I mean? I was like, so he just kept booking me on these shows, and I got more and more time, man. And I think the Michigan scene is so much. People don't realize how good Midwest comedians are. Like when they go to LA or other places, they really stand out, man.
I agree,
like,
and I've always
I
said
hear it all the time.
Yeah,
I've always said I think Michigan is going to be the spot to be where. Well, I said that weird. I always say a fucking weird grammar flow on here. Last time I said Swindlin. What fucking country is Swindlin? Anyway,
Swindlin.
yeah, Swindlin. I think, but
Philabancus.
yeah.
But I really think Michigan is going to be the place where comedians come in a few years.
Yeah.
I honestly, truly believe that. And so speaking of that, Cam, like who are some of your favorite local comedians around here? Like who do you want to kind of give some props to right now, man?
Oh man, number one, Josh Adams. I say he's killing it, of course. And Josh can be a star, and he just did the Hard Knock, so definitely him. Mike Jeter is out here killing it.
Good friend.
Robert Jenkins is killing it. Mike Logan, Ricardo, like we're doing shows together. Ricardo Winston. It's so many people, man. Paul and Justin, you guys are out here killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite killing it. I'm like,
Forget about it.
I mean,
But no, it's so many people, man. Like you see, and then you see people like, Melanie Hearn, Ronnie Chanel, all these different, Tim Finkel, Tam White. It's so many people out here that is doing Boogie.
But people always forget to mention Boogie.
Boogie is such. He's a true artist, man.
Yeah.
He is a for real true. Like Boogie seems like we did it. I had a podcast a couple years ago that he was on, and you can just tell he's a true artist. Like, he doesn't care about like what I think like necessary like fame and stuff like that. He just wants to get better as a comedian and just like be that artist. And that's like
He reminds me of Prince a little bit.
Yeah.
Where he's gonna do
like you could like Boogie here's $20 million. If he doesn't like that shit, he's like, fuck you, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
that's commendable.
Which is
that's commendable,
super commendable. Because I'd be like, okay, what I got to do again? 20 million? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can see Boogie just be like, no, hell no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Hell no.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that. He's just so smooth,
Right.
Like, the Prince thing comes in now.
Yeah.
He's gonna make you pancakes too after whooping your ass at basketball.
It's smooth. He's smooth. He's smooth.
Yeah, it's so many, man, honestly, guys, so many Michigan comedians that are just doing so many things, man.
A lot of workhorses, man.
Yeah, let me shout out Josiah Jones because he's gonna get on me for not shouting him out. Josiah's out here traveling. All right, Josiah, you happy now?
I'm gonna add my boy Drew Freilich to that list.
Oh yeah, Drew Freilich, yeah, man.
Drew, he's one of my favorite writers in the entire Michigan comedy scene. The first time I seen him, he had just come back from China. He comes to the New Way, signs up, goes up, and I'm like, okay, first time I'm seeing you, you got 7 minutes. And he goes up, and literally his jokes were so good. It was with the Ford F-150, and he takes it back where he takes it to Japan and this and that, and the reverse ads.
Yeah.
And it was so genius that when he came off stage, I was like, who the fuck are you? Your name isn't Drew Freilich. Like, that was so good. Like, have you been on HBO? What do you hide?
Yeah.
Like, what's your? I felt like he was hiding a secret identity, but just everything that he does.
Dude, there's so many people.
Joe's,
T Barb is out here just doing all types of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just see him on Facebook, and I'm just amazed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
And again, I'm telling you right now, Michigan will be the place where comedians are going to come.
Yeah.
One kind of weird thing I want to ask you, Cam.
Yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so you got a joke about everybody's favorite cartoon character, Caillou.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this right now, Cam. Do you know how tall Caillou is?
I have no idea. I don't know how tall Caillou is.
Daryl, can you look up real quick how tall Caillou is? Okay, because my mind was blown. For those of you who don't know, Caillou is the worst children's show of all time.
Oh my gosh,
How
the
tall
worst.
do you think Caillou is? Just guess.
Well, he's he's like a 5-year-old
Yes,
kid.
5-year-old kid,
I don't know,
yeah.
like 3'9".
3'9". Okay, 3'9".
3'2".
Okay, we got 3'9". We got 3'2". Daryl, how tall is Caillou?
It says 5 feet 7 inches.
Wait, what?
Right?
He must be my
Caillou's
son.
as tall as you are.
Yes! He's as tall. I swear to God. Like, isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
How is Caillou 5'7"? That's
Dude, that's crazy, man.
so. You know
Hey,
what happens
for the
when-
rest of the podcast, can we just start calling Justin Caillou?
Oh, good Lord!
So his parents are like 7 feet? then?
Exactly. So you know what that means. When he grows up, he's gonna come find you.
Oh, shit.
Like you're telling jokes about me.
I'm gonna learn how to fight and kick Caillou's ass. That's what
Please
I'm gonna
do. Yes, please do.
Caillou comes up. Keep Caillou's name out your mouth.
That would be a funny skit, man. I didn't know it was that tall, but
Yeah, like it was the weirdest thing because I was trying to like think of some of the jokes you told.
Yeah.
And I'm like maybe do like a little bit of fun with Caillou. I'm like 5'7". What the
dude,
fuck?
I'm
Like,
gonna have to add on to that, man.
Yeah.
5'7". That's
Oh, I'm sorry to break in, but actually there's some disagreement. There's some people that think it's 5 feet 11
5'11".
5'11".
So Caillou's taller than me.
and 171 pounds.
He wiped my ass. Caillou.
And this gets 5. This gets 5.
Is
Is this adult Caillou?
4 years old. Can I recruit him to play football for us? Is that?
Okay, so it totally makes sense now why his parents always give in to his temper tantrums.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking monster. He's gonna be a fucking beast when he grows up.
Oh, dude, that's right.
That's
Caillou.
insane to me.
Damn, I did not know that. That's taller than my son, man. You know, my 5-year-old's pretty tall, but he's not 5'7".
He's no Caillou.
No, he's no Caillou.
How old's your 5-year-old?
Damn, he's actually 6 now. My bad. He's
Okay.
6 now, but,
How old's my 5-year-old? 6. Okay, how old is 6?
dude, I think he's
Yeah,
like,
that was What kind of question is this guy asking? How old's your 5-year-old? How tall? How tall? That's what I meant to say. How
I
tall?
want to say he's like 5 feet or almost 5 feet.
Okay.
As 6, I think that's, you
Yeah.
know, it's pretty, but he's just so long and.
But he has genetics, though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
your
yeah.
dad's tall, you're
Oh,
tall.
Yeah. My dad's tall. My grandmother, my dad's mom was 6'1".
Oh,
Damn.
yeah.
You know what I mean? She is a big woman, 6'1", like 300 something pounds, and my dad's tall and thin.
Could she
but
play
I
deep
definitely-
tackle for the
Dude,
Giants?
she could. She could, man. She was, and then her brothers are like super tall too, man. So, but yeah, man, my dad is like, he's 6'7", and but he was fast. Like my dad's like thin. He was quick, and he was like really. He was like a Tayshaun Prince, I'd say,
Okay.
but like a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, he could play. I think he could play in any era. Honestly, he was a beast.
That's a huge.
awesome.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because he was a rebounder. He played defense. Like he'd be a role player. I think on any era. I honestly think he could. Man, for real.
Well, just doing those things, rebounding, defense.
Yeah,
That'll give you a roster spot.
that's right, man. That's just not. I'm not just saying this because I want him to put me on the insurance. I'm telling the truth, man.
It's called Mending Fences with Cam Rowe.
Yeah,
Oh, man. Rebound and defense, 2 things I know nothing about.
yeah,
Nothing
man.
about.
You ever been dating?
I had to yes, exactly. Again, 2 things I know nothing about.
Rebounds and defense.
Yes.
Man, you got to.
Oh, man. Well, you got anything else that you want to ask Cam here? You got anything else that you want to talk about? Or
No, man, you guys have been great. I mean, yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about. I love sitting down with stand-ups, man. This is great.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
I've been paying attention to this show since pre-COVID.
Yeah.
The days of Marco and David Shank and all back then. So I'm really happy.
Me too.
To be on this today with you guys, and I love reconnecting with Cam. I hadn't got a chance to even mention the Stray Cat to you and all that. So.
Dude, I'm excited. Dude, I love the Stray Cat. That's so funny. They were awesome. I mean, me and Tim Finkel did a show there too before. It was great, man.
Yeah.
I love the Stray Cat.
Yeah, so
Stray Cat.
They still want to have.
Tim Finkel's killing it too. Let me make sure I put Tim Finkel in there. The Michigan people. Tim Finkel.
Tim Finkel is one of my favorite performers.
Dude, he's so good,
to
man.
see. I seen him. So it was funny because I remember Tim, and then it was like right after COVID. There was a show at One Night Stands, and they had a headliner there. Tim was the feature, and the MC went up, did a fine job. Tim went up and absolutely murdered the room. He murders a lot, and it's so funny. Just he's just nice, humble dude. He just gets up there and
you got
just
a nice
destroys.
guy. One of those people who's a very nice guy and very funny
but
as well.
He's really, really funny.
And well, that's one thing. Is he's really humble, and he's really funny, and he absolutely destroyed the room.
Yeah.
And the headliner came up, and it was like he was in a fog.
Ooh.
Because Tim's high energy, and to me, it's like you shouldn't have low energy follow high energy.
No, it's hard.
And this guy was low energy, and it was like, and you could just tell the crowd was like, "Bring him back.
That's right.
We want him."
That's right. Have you I've done shows like that too, like where I've featured, and the headliner will be like talking about me the whole time. Like I've had that happen like a few times, and you're like, dude, stop doing that. You know what I mean? And then after the show, people be like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
I hate that. That's awkward, man. I'm like, oh gosh.
The end of the show, it's almost like the meet and greet, and you're standing there with the headliner, the host, and the feature, and that's almost like that's gut check time for humility because people are gonna walk by and they're gonna be like, ignore you.
And they'll go
and
right
look
to
right to you and be like, "Oh, I love you, dude. Can I follow you?
Yeah.
Do you have anything I can buy?" And then
Dude, I've had that.
they'll have another look at you, and like they'll make eye contact, and they're like, "So,
good job, man.
So hey, good luck to you."
Yeah.
And then they'll focus all their attention here, and then be like, you were pretty good too.
You're pretty good too. Yep.
Yeah.
You can mark that off your bucket list now, right?
Yeah. But hey,
I've been on both sides of that too.
Yeah. It feels good. It's like it feels so good when it like happens for you. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like when it's going through the other ones, you're just like, okay. Be humble. Be humble.
See, I don't like doing that. Like if it's like like me and like Mike Ball or something. Like we're pretty good friends, so we like fuck with each other about like you see, she fucking loved me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, but like if it's somebody like who like I don't know, like a new headliner, or like it makes me feel awkward. I'm like, oh fuck, like please don't say that, in front of them. Mm-hmm. And then I just want to leave. One time this lady said this, and this headliner is like he's like well known, and I don't want to say their name, but she was like she looked at me and she said, "You were good." She said, "But you were my favorite." And she pointed. I was like, "Oh fuck," you know what I mean? Like that just makes me feel awkward and stuff like that.
And the headliner's like, "Well, so you're obviously not gonna be working for me."
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, man. I think what's the guy's name? Is it Bill? Bill somebody. He passed away.
Oh, Hillebrand.
I featured for him, and it was the Jason Douglas show, and he calls Jason, and he said, "Why the fuck did you have Cam Rowe on the show?" He was like, "What's wrong?" He was like, "He needs to be a fucking headliner. Don't fucking have him as a feature. Have him feature for me anymore." So then Jason started headlining me after that. I was like, "That's cool, man."
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a great compliment.
Yeah, it was a great compliment. So yeah.
Hey, what's been your favorite experience on the road? Like as far as like how somebody treated you, where you were at.
Other than Louis C.K. making me okay.
Making the pancakes.
Making me a star is what he told me.
Yeah. You're gonna be big, kid. You're gonna be big.
He already is big. He already is big.
I would say honestly, man, I think like my first road trip, I was working with this comedy agency called Hysterical Management. This is my first time on the road. They put me in this little motel. But I was just so happy to be like a official like road comic. So just being on the road. And then this last time, me and Rick went up north and with Dustin Cole. Dustin, that's another one. Dustin Cole, who's killing it. But this last time, man, we were just having so much fun on the road. We just went up to gosh, I forgot the name of that city, but it's like
Munising.
2 hours. No, Munising, but
Or
not
Tawas.
Munising. What's the other one?
Marquette?
It's like,
Marquette.
you talking like thumb, or are you talking up here?
Up there, kind of.
So, like, okay, yeah, here's Michigan.
Yeah.
Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, which, you can go ahead and...
Oh, shit, I'm so bad at this.
So you gotta do it
So the thumb is there.
on the outside
Yeah, I'm off.
of your hand for the camera.
It's okay. You know what? It's where Jason Douglas is from. I don't know if you guys know where he's from, but it's like that city that we did. But it was like 2 hours north, so that's probably what? Where is that? Like
BFE.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
BFE.
Anyway.
It was in BFE.
Anyway, this city was great. Like we were just going up north and just cracking jokes, having fun the whole time. Like I felt like I've known Rick forever. He reminds me of mine. His cadence and everything is a lot like my father's.
That's cool.
So it's funny. Yeah, like they're like the same person. Like talk shit to you, whatever, and thinking they're big shit all the time. But it's like it's just coming from a good place. It's always like it's good spirited. You know what I mean? So yeah, I forget. Damn, I can't remember the name of that city to save my life right now. But
We'll do some research. We'll
yeah,
post
it was
in
a
the
great
comments.
city though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little bar at like the bottom to mention the
Yeah.
city.
Being a little
It's called the TNC Sports Lounge. That's what we did. So if you guys know what city that is.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So it was a good venue, great venue, man. It was fun though. So yeah, that's
Very
probably
cool.
the best road trip I did.
Wow.
Very cool.
Now, how do you feel? How long are you new stand up for, by the way?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
And how do you feel stand up or the scene has changed from the time you started to now? Because I've seen this drastic change from when I started to now, and I'd like to know.
Yeah, so I was watching it 2 years before I even started going on stage, but yeah, it's like you could say way more shit that you wanted to back then. Now it's like anything you say is like, oh, I'm offended by that.
Fuck that. Just say what you want to say.
I know, man.
Say what you want to say.
Or we'll come back to haunt you at some point.
Yeah, or like if you talk about cancer and someone says, oh, my grandmother has cancer. Dude, if you experience something with cancer and you find a way to make it funny, say whatever it is. Like it's not about somebody's grandmother. I don't even know your grandmother. You know what I mean? Like
it's your personal story.
Yeah, however you feel about it, man. So it's just
it's why you book your own rooms because nobody can kick you out of it.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So
that's right, man.
Always, man. Like, don't get offended. It's a fucking joke, right?
That's it.
So
why are you so mad? And then it's something else. It's not the comedian they're mad at. They're mad at
the experience, but they take it out on you.
Yeah.
Well, I found that with, for instance, I have multiple friends that do multiple different things in their set. The darkest piece of my material and my comedy deals with my, father and brother dying in a house fire, and sometimes for an audience, it's like they're looking for permission. Like, oh, what you said was funny, but they're looking for permission, and I didn't grant them enough of that leeway. I have another friend, Ronnie Robeck. He's got cerebral palsy and adopted. Audiences roll with the adoption material.
With the cerebral palsy.
That's uplifting. And when he talks about the cerebral palsy, and it's funny because it's only people who are not affected by it will be offended. So, for instance, if I have cerebral palsy, I'm not offended by the joke you did. As a matter of fact, I'm happy and I'm proud because nobody is representing us and talking about this. I'm happy. I love what you did. But the person who knows them they feel the pain.
I think it's because
I find that in multiple
yeah.
situations.
Like they feel they have to. It's like, no, like you don't have to be offended. Like life is so much easier when you're not offended.
Oh my God, it's so much, man.
Just chill and relax. I mean,
like I have a joke I do about my brother being gay, but like as soon as I say it at first, I feel the audience getting like real quiet. Like, oh shit, I like this dude.
They suck in their breath.
Yeah, but the joke is he was trying to come out and nobody gave a fuck that he was gay. Like that's the whole joke.
Yeah,
right?
the moral story is it's all good in the end.
Yeah, exactly. So then like they come around, but as soon as I say it, they're like
trigger word.
Yeah.
Trigger word. What's he gonna do? Where's he gonna go?
I like Cam, and now he's about to fuck up.
Yeah.
That's like, you know what I mean? Like that's how they come at me. But no, that joke, and I've had gay people coming to me all the time. Like they love that joke that I do. So You know, it just depends. But I feel like if you think it's funny, say it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Again, just don't get offended.
Yeah.
If you don't find it funny, just don't laugh.
Yeah, just don't laugh.
But don't make an outburst of it. So.
Yeah, that's usually the golden rule that I always have, especially if there's starting out a show. If there's a heckler in the audience, get that heckler squashed before the first comic comes up. Get it on a good reset, and I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. So.
But yeah, no, that's good. So
and sorry, Kurt, for talking about that you're gay, but everybody knows.
Stop talking about me.
Well, I think this has been a fantastic interview, man.
Thanks, man.
This has been
Great
This has
episode.
been amazing, man. Again, Paul, thank you so much for coming on here.
Justin, thank you.
Justin, dude, I will definitely have
I
you
can't
back.
believe you
on
guys
for
just
sure.
met,
Awesome.
man. That's crazy.
Yeah, second time.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
insane.
And again, Cam, always a pleasure having
Thank
you
you,
on.
man.
Please.
Hey, we gotta get that picture together.
Yeah, of course, man, of
at the end.
course.
Go to his shows. Go to New Way. Guy was an awesome open mic.
New Wave,
come to
Fridays,
Europe. Come to Europe.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take it.
buy a plane ticket, go to Europe, October 1st at Bearded Lamb Brewing Company,
Yes.
October 15th, Rough Dakota Distillery. Again, thank you so much. This has been Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. Follow us on Instagram. We'll be on Twitch at some point soon, Facebook. Again, thank you so much, guys. Take care.
All right.
All right.